Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brilmann. I'm joined here by Solari, and we are back at LFL 2021.
Hello, everybody. Solari here. Very happy to be back at LFL. So, what do we have today? We have today two teams which have already facing each other yet again. We have Misfits Premiere playing against Vitality.Bee this time, and this is an interesting game because the outcome of it is pretty crucial for both of them. Currently, Misfits are sitting on the third place in the tournament table. They have 10 wins versus 5 losses, and right after them, right behind them, just one step behind them, is Vitality.Bee because they have 9 wins and 6 losses, which means if Vitality.Bee managed to win this game, they are going up to the third place and they are sharing it with Misfits Premiere. However, if Misfits Premiere win this game, they are going up one spot and they will be sitting on the second place together with Carmine Corp. So this is a very crucial game for both of them, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
This is going to be a very exciting game. I can double up on that one. And it is even more interesting understanding and realizing the fact that we are coming very, very close to actually the end of the group stage, while we're going to go into, it's not exactly group stage, it's a double Robin stage, but it doesn't really matter because we will go into the playoff stages.
Yeah.
And that's something very interesting because right now, to me, it looks a little bit like we are going to see some tiebreakers along the way. I'm quite sure about that. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but I have a feeling that we might see some tiebreakers in the end of the day.
Judging by what we have seen so far, yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that's going to be pretty many tiebreakers, and that makes waiting for it even more exciting, to be honest. Like, really, there's gonna be a lot of clashes on the way.
Absolutely, and I have to be honest, from the very first games that we've seen, from the very first days that we have witnessed, we kind of established the fact that there's two teams that are just undeniably amazing and great, and these to be Carmine Corp and Misfits Premiere. Right now, we also have Team BDS that are currently sitting on the first place of the tournament board, and it seems to me like I think that most of the gameplay, most of the, like, the biggest, the most cheesiest, and the most titanic games will be around those three teams.
Yeah, actually, the teams who are sitting on the top of the tournament table right now are extremely powerful, first of all, and second of all, they have managed to give each other a really hard time. So yeah, when they all clash against each other, that's gonna be a lot of blood split everywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we go to the tournament, into the ban phase, I'm actually very interested in what both of the teams are about to pull off in this particular game. We see AD carries being banned for Team Vitality.Bee, while they answer with a Thresh and Udyr ban of their own. Lilia goes in there as well. Something that Schlatten actually plays but decides not to go with. I suppose we're going to see either Needley or Graves.
Yeah.
By far the best champions he was able to show us in the LFL.
Yep. He was pretty good with Lilia too, but when he's playing as Needley or especially as Graves, you can just see the man shining.
Yeah. And Banner for Renekton going in there. Right now, it seems like Vitality.Bee are targeting whatever they can actually target.
Yeah, but they forgot to target one thing, and that was immediately picked by Misfits Premiere. Beautiful rail for Jack Troll. This is the combination I love to see.
I am still more of a fan of a Leona Jack Troll combination, but that also works fine for me.
Okay.
So, no problem about that.
Fine. Okay. And that's Kai'Sa actually stolen by Vitality.Bee.
That's actually very naughty picks right now, because both Kai'Sa and Needley, something that Misfits play quite often. Schlatten have played Needley quite a few amount of times and was extremely successful with, while Woolite, he was basically the shining star of LFL because of his Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of an interesting position right now.
Ooh.
Oh, Tristana.
That's
Yordle's coming
new.
into play.
That's new. We
I don't
haven't.
think we've seen Woolite play that.
No. We definitely haven't, and that's something really interesting. That's gonna be a very, very jumpy bot from both sides, but mostly this time from Woolite. And obviously, that is a grace for Schlaran as an answer to Nidalee. And actually, we have seen those two clash, and pretty much always Graves wins versus Nidalee. So that's a good counter pick of Vitality.Bee, I would say.
Probably yes, although it's a little bit of a question whether Vitality.Bee are going to have a little bit of a better team build up over here. Well, the archetype of what are they going to go with? That's a little bit of a concern that I do have right now. Momentarily, though, the picks were actually mirror, so both teams are still lacking top lane and mid lane, and that's both teams are actually interested in banning right now. We see Syndra and Lucian being out of the way. That's mid lane. Bans, I suppose we're now going to see some top bans as well. If I was Vitality.Bee, I would really want to exclude Atrix from the game as fast as I could, because we've seen Aggressive to do miracles on Atrix.
Yeah. Oh, that's a Graves ban. That's interesting.
It's a Gragas. I'm going to correct
Oh,
you on that
Gragas.
one.
Indeed, sorry. We already have Graves. Why?
The big belly guy, just remember.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, I'm just thinking what else they could have tried to exclude for Aggressivo. I wouldn't go exactly with this ban, but
I think we've
is
seen
open
him
for him?
already to pull it off quite nicely.
Yeah,
But it was against Renekton. Jace. Ooh, that's an interesting ban.
I'm just thinking what else is open there for Aggressivo except for Gnar maybe or something like this. Ooh, Azir. I was expecting to see
Atrox
him
is
banned.
still... Because of Certus. Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, Atrix is still available for Aggressive, so I don't really see any reason why he shouldn't really go with that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Certus might be running Orianna here because of the Lucian ban. And I think that would actually be a very nice audition for the team archetype over here because of Tristana. Cyan.
It's not a final pick yet, but I kind of want to see Aggressivo play this one. Yes, that is a
I
final
do hope
pick.
that's going to be Lethality Cyan. It's
Oh my
definitely
God.
not going to be, but it would be very fun
It would
to
be.
see that.
I mean, there is a possibility to
And a
build
Zoe.
it, but not a very good one. Yeah, Zoe against Azir. That's
Always works. I mean, Zoe is a most of the time working pick, so why don't you go with Orianna?
it looks like in the end.
Maybe you're going...
Yes.
Yes, I lived up to my promises. Thank you.
Yay!
I did the prediction right. I'm actually very interested in what's going to be the counter... Well, not the counter pick, but the pick into Cyan, because Renekton is out of the set.
Ooh.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting, and that is actually a good counter pick. I like it because of the amount of roll damage that comes out from this champion, he is a good counter pick for top lane.
And the ultimate itself is going to be a
Yeah.
little bit more useful in the beginning of the game rather than Cyan's. But on the other hand, I have to be honest that Cyan's ultimate right now, it's because looking at Misfits right now, they have a lot of very good global ultimates that can really be a game changer inside of a team fight, and especially with the with Aggressivo's ultimate of his own that basically makes him a train wreck that just goes anywhere on the map, wherever you want, in case you have a good GPS.
Here comes the pain train.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, you have a possibility to go from the Dragon Pit, well, from the top lane towards the Dragon Pit in no time.
Yeah.
So that's basically, it's basically like a another teleport. On your
Yeah,
hands.
it's basically like having Shen in your team in terms of the speed with which he comes to join you in any team fight.
Maybe not exactly that useful or that, let me say, that effective as Shen's ultimate in that particular regard. But it also gives the knock-up, it also gives the control, it also provides some good damage. It can be used for some very good lane initiations, because when you have this pain train just going into you out of nowhere, in case you have managed to pull it off like this from out of nowhere, this is going to work fairly nicely. So it does really sound well in in that specific regard.
Yeah, it sure does. I also really, really want to see how the bot lane is going to work out, because Tristana with Woolite, that's something completely new, and that's even a new type of champion for him. I would say the closest we have seen him playing so far would have been Kalista, but still, that's still different.
That is, yes, and that's actually very interesting with the fact that right now we know that Woolite is very interested in trying to catch as much turret plates as he can. And with Tristana, this is going to be just a nice walk because of your E.
Yeah.
So that gives Misfits a lot of pushing potential and a split push potential. So it seems to be fair to say right now, from my perspective, that momentarily Misfits are in a little bit of a better position than Vitality.Bee in terms of draft.
Yes.
And the team composition.
Exactly. In terms of the team composition, in terms how the abilities and especially ultimates work with each other, yes, Misfits Premiere have a win here in the draft.
And it's really, really interesting to me to actually look at how they're going to pull it off, because it seems right now that this is a little bit more of, well, if you think about it, you have Tristana's damage. She's going to have a lot of damage, but she needs a bit of a power spike in order to get that damage. You still have Certus's Shockwave that does immense amount of damage and can turn any fight around, but now you don't have Aatrox. Sure, Science still does have quite a bit of a chunk of a damage, but he's much more relying on his survivability rather than going in there and life stealing everything he can and wants. So that's going to be a bit of a thing. And with the passive that grants him a little bit more of living after he's being killed, that means that there's going to be a little bit of a different gameplay showed us from Aggressor. And I wonder how much it's going to actually make a difference in the fight. And you can see how Raven is actually doing a very good job at using his advantage at level 1, level 2, and maybe even level 3, especially because of his W.
Yeah. But actually, to build on your point before, this slight lack of damage and lifesteal from the top lane actually brings a lot of pressure on Schlatten and Woolite, but mostly I would say Schlatten in this specific game to be the bigger damage dealer than even we usually see him, just because they will need that extra power, raw power coming from somebody in the team. Sure, there is still Woolite, that's still Tristana, like it or not, she does the damage, but they will need some more. Especially before Certus builds his Zhonya's Hourglass. And do we have a gank here?
We might have a counter gank from Schlatten in case Memento decides to go in there, but he decides not to. I don't really actually think that we're going to see a lot of the action in the early game, because neither of the teams are actually that much, I'd say, prepare for any kind of a good...
Are you sure?
Well, never mind, as we see Hustlin flashing away in order to get himself away from that little good initiation from Jack Troll. Also, Ignite is going down from Jack Troll.
Yeah, still worth it. Still worth it if you manage to get a flash from that cow. That's good enough, I would say. And yeah, that's exactly the Jack Troll we see, just looking, always constantly looking for a possibility to jump in with Israel and finding that opportunity and using it as much as possible to get at least something from the enemy. I would say that's what defines Jack Troll's game style for me.
I have to ultimately agree with you on that one, because we've seen Jack Troll to do some just amazing things. Oh, look at that. Aggressivo might be actually taking Raven down right now. A W being popped up. Schlatten comes in there. Raven has to flash away in order not to give the first blood to Team Misfits, and Aggressivo actually putting up some very good work with that Scion.
Yes, that was really nice, and that... Okay, that is some action about to happen next to the mid lane, but not exactly. But yeah, that was some really nice damage coming there from Aggressivo on the top lane, and that's still a flash taken from your top laner. That's still good.
And flash and a teleport, I actually might add, because Aggressivo decides to save his teleport, which is actually a very good thing for him, because more you have, better it will be in case there's going to be a fight for the dragon. Dplex also burning his teleport in order to get to the mid lane as fast as he can. He wants to outrun that Orianna as fast as he can, because you really, really wants to be at least a little bit ahead of that Orianna. Sure, you have Emperor's Divide, and the Emperor's Divide is an extremely, extremely powerful ultimate, but you have to get yourself into the position to do that. You can't do it from miles away, as Orianna can with her shockwave.
Yeah, that's actually what defines Orianna. She has much easier time as soon as she hits level 6 rather than Azir with his ultimate, and that's why you need to try to shut her down before she hits that level 6, which is not exactly happening because the creep stat is ultimately pretty much the same, but Duplex is trying, and that is a dragon actually coming from Misfits, the Infernal Drake, a very early one. I like seeing this Misfits. Nice job not losing the first dragon, as it happens sometimes, unfortunately.
Yes, and actually a very good reading of the situation from Misfits, because they see that, Woolite might be a little bit of a problem right now. Has his W available for him, though? That's a haystack flash coming from Hustlin, but there's going to be nobody home because that is Tristana, and she's not so easily caught. Remember, there's no killer instinct on Kai'Sa yet, which means that she won't be able to follow up Woolite as fast as she would have liked to. Oh, Schlatter might be actually going for a very, very long gank over here.
Very long, not so sneaky, but I think he's just backing unless some action starts happening. And Jack Troll
and a flash coming in there. That's a lot of damage on both Jack Troll and Hustlin, but 3 men are much bigger than 2. That's going to be a first blood for Misfits, but Smiley manages to take the kill for himself as well as Jack Troll is going down, and that is 1-for-1 exchange, actually nicely executed from Vitality.Bee.
Yes, considering that there were 3 versus 2 people on the bot lane there, yes, that is very nice from Vitality.Bee. You can see actually Jack Troll almost going down here, but then there comes a heal from Woolite, so that's another summoner spell that was taken from Misfits Premiere.
But look at that, Woolite. Smiley against Woolite, that's a showdown. Exhaust being popped on Woolite in order not to be killed. Also, a buster shot. That means that there's no ultimate available for Woolite, but there is an ultimate available for Smiley in case he's going to try and rejoin the action. Jack Troll might be actually thinking about getting somebody in here, but decides just only to interrupt the recall and gets away.
That was an opening for an invasion from Jack Troll there, just because Certus already has the shockwave. They decided not to go
but
for it.
But Diplex has Emperor's Divide too, so it might be a little bit more risky than you actually would like it. Oh, that's a teleport from Aggressivo, as they're going to actually very nicely get and try to get this Herald, but it's 5 members of Team Vitality.Bee. You have to go back in this situation as fast as you can. Not exactly sure if they are aware that there's all 5 members of the team teleport getting it there. Yet another one. All 5 members of Misfits are in here as well. Whoa! Schlatter manages to take it, but the showstopper from Raven onto Aggressivo. There is also was some kind of a shockwave. I didn't really manage to get where was it, but it doesn't matter as Raven is going down. Memento is probably going down as well. Emperor's Divide not going to find that a lot of targets, and more members of Vitality.Bee are going down. 1 member of Misfits are being killed, but 3 members of Vitality.Bee were killed right now, and there might be more blood spilled right now. Schlatten is on the chase, trying to get himself as much as he can. Collateral damage not available for him as he's going down because of Hustlin and Certus. Maybe tries to get some more kills onto Hustlin. Yes, he manages to do that, and that was some bloody brawl if I've ever seen one.
That indeed was. And may I say that the Herald was actually taken by Misfits Premiere, so they come out of this fight as absolute winners. The only problem I have with this fight, as you said, the shockwave, I didn't really see. It was right there, but it only caught
Memento was caught by it. But just the fight was so chaotic. Even look at it. Even the Emperor's Divide only catched Woolite, but Woolite instantly escaped it with his W, and Aggressivo managed to knock up 2 members of Vitality.Bee. That provided Misfits with another kill. So that was a very, very chaotic fight from both of the sides. Even here, look at Schlatter, look at Smiley. Schlanten is just going down in no time, and he was not expecting it. I was not expecting it. I bet you weren't expecting it.
Absolutely not. I feel like both teams were not expecting a lot of stuff that happened in the team fight, starting from the fact that most probably they were expecting the fight to happen much closer to the Baron pit, instead of Misfits Premiere just luring everybody back to the jungle because they have teleport coming from Certus. And that mispositioned actually both of the teams, because the Shockwave hit almost nobody, the Emperor's Divide went almost nowhere, and then the whole chase was a little bit chaotic. Though kudos to Woolite. He got 1 kill only, so everybody in Misfits Premiere team has 1 kill now. This is a nice division of kills. I like this.
And I only want to point out that if you look at the trinkets, you'll see that Herald is nowhere to be found.
You're right. Why so?
Which is very interesting, because Jack Schlatten didn't manage to pick it up. He killed it, but he didn't pick it up because of the fight that have happened. So you can even say that Vitality.Bee came up a little bit on top in that particular regard. Although Misfits are going to answer with the dragon right now. It's going to be a Cloud Drake, which is going to be a very useful dragon for the team because of the amount of the global ultimates that they have.
And we're going to have an Ocean Soul afterwards, which is especially something that both teams would like to go for. But for Misfits Premiere with their ultimates, and that is actually an opening for so far.
An extremely early soul there, because if you think about it, we can reach a soul onto the 21st minute of the game. That would be pretty big for Misfits.
Yes, considering the pace with which they have been chasing the objectives on the map so far, I think they would go for this super early soul, and that would give them a massive advantage, because even right now there is a 1,000, even a little bit more than 1,000 gold difference between the teams in favor of Misfits Premiere, and they're leading pretty nicely. They have more kills, they have much more drakes. Towers, still no towers actually. That's interesting. We're 12 minutes in the game, we have Woolite and no towers yet. That's something new.
That's true. Although right now might be a little bit of a problem for Certus and Jack Troll. They're going to try and fight for that. No, they're not going to try and fight for that crap. I think the best thing that you could have actually done. And I only want to point out I see only 2 turret plates being picked up on the map as well, which is actually very, very, very interesting. They're going to fall very, very soon, so there's not really a lot of money that's going to be earned in the early game.
Yeah, that's something new, honestly, because usually we see Woolite trying to get as many turret plates as possible, getting a lot of money advantage, and then just building his mystic item as soon as possible, though he already has one, and that's a Kraken Slayer on Tristana, which is something I like to see, though. No,
probably
actually,
the best choice you could go with right now, because of Raven, because of Hustling. They're going to be quite a bit of a problem. So it's good to have them. And because of Raven and he's Showstopper, that he's going to be actually quite close to your backlane. And when you know that, you can really quickly get rid of him. A good thing. Not going to save him that much. His W is not going to save him that much, because yes, the shield is a very good thing, but with the true damage coming from the Kraken Slayer, the Tristana is going to do a lot of damage.
Yes, but I also think actually that the team composition of Misfits Premiere right now is really good to stand against that set that Raven would set, because the moment he tries to jump into the enemy backlane, we have Rel, who will immediately stop him, especially because Jack Troll is always somewhere with Woolite, or almost always. And we have the Shockwave from Certus, and there's just a lot of means to stop him and prevent that massive amount of damage that can come from this champion. And that is actually a really good advantage the Misfits Premiere have for any team fights that are yet to come. We've seen only one so far, but that was already a good example, I would say.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And also, not only does the amount of ultimates help them to prevent Raven going in, oh, never mind, maybe Aggressive might be in a little bit of trouble. Although, quickly going back there right now, decides to stay there a little bit longer. Memento is going to catch him right now, but not doing that amount of damage. Look at Aggressive, only 1 item is being built. Only the gauntlet is there, but still the amount of tankiness he has already, that is insane. Also, the first turret is going down. Woolite's
Finally.
picking up that turret.
Finally.
Nothing to be surprised about.
Yes, the only surprise is that it's a little bit too late, but look at that split push coming from Woolite. Exactly what you said at the draft. That is what he is going to do with this champion, just trying to push as fast as possible, because he can jump away from almost any danger, including Raven, trying to maybe stop him.
And look at Misfits. How well do they actually manage the positioning of their AD carry? Because both Shatton and Jutral are already there. In case something happens, they are there. Yes, Vitality.Bee are taking control of the jungle. Yes, they do. But they're also losing second tower in the process. And losing it quite rapidly because of the damage of that E from Tristana.
Well, to be fair, the second tower didn't go down in the end, but yes, I agree with you. That is a very good positioning advantage from Misfits Premiere.
Right now, it just only seems like the Misfits are not even that interested in actually fighting that much. Because you don't really need actually to fight that much. You have Woolite, he's going to do every bit of work that actually needs to be done. Also, a Herald for Schlatten means that the even more towers are, well, potentially one tower right now actually might be going down, although members of Vitality.Bee are already going there. Raven is coming from the base, Aggressivo going from the bot lane, although it's only used as a pressure gauge onto Vitality.Bee. They are going to try and take that Drake. Raven, though, is getting into the backline. Hustling is going down very, very quickly as Jacktroll getting himself into the fight. Duplex has to flash away in order to get out of the fight. Schlatter might be in a little bit of trouble right now. Yes, he's going down. Shockwave didn't find Memento there, but neither did Memento find Certus. Smiley may be going to try to use his killer instinct in order to kill Jacktroll, but Woolite or Aggressivo are there to stop him. 1-for-1 exchange for both of the teams, but this Dragon is definitely going for Misfits Premiere.
No doubt in this. Actually, that was so close for Duplex to join some of his teammates at the tavern. His HP just went down extremely quick. You could see it. He almost died. I have a feeling there was a heal prop somewhere, probably a heal from Memento. I didn't exactly catch that one, but that was a moment when I was sure that he would be going down as well.
And yet again, we're facing a chaotic fight. Just look at it. Everything is happening. Hustling getting in there. Raven going into the backline. Jackstraw and Schlatten are just getting in there trying to kill Duplex. Raven in the meantime killing Schlatten. In the same time, Certus using his shockwave, not finding anyone. Memento trying to kill him. Didn't manage to do that. It's a chaotic brawl of two very, very skilled teams. That's what I see in here.
That's just a showdown of how much power both teams have. And frankly, that's a little bit unfair because Misfits not only have more power, their positioning in the teamfight is a little bit better. You can see just how they are trying to catch for positions for their ultimates. Not catching though. Again, we have a second team fight when unfortunately the Empress Divide and Shockwave don't do as much as they could have done, but they're trying to fish for them, and ultimately they come out of the fight feeling much better than Vitality.Bee.
But although you have to point out the fact that the game is pretty even. It's not that even, but it's fair to say that it's a little bit more even than I thought it was going to be. Well, from the very beginning at the very least. Yes, you have the 1 tower lead and you have 2,000 gold lead. But still, well, it's going to be 2 towers lead right now. But still, Vitality.Bee are putting up a very good fight in those team fights.
Well, if we compare this game to some of the games we saw last week, definitely yes, but still I wouldn't call it a fair game.
Oh, Jackstraw might be actually going down in here. Look at this! Hustling, getting himself into the fight, but going down extremely quickly. Raven is already here. Teleport brings in here Aggressivo as he's going to try and save Woolite from the death. Buster Shot is saving him. In the same time, we see bodies everywhere. Again, a chaotic fight and 2-for-2 exchange.
I didn't quite catch how it happened, but Certus was in extremely bad position there. He was just cut out from the whole rest of the team, and he was just being completely disintegrated by Smiley, and I'm pretty sure Smiley wasn't even alone there trying to take him down. I would love to see a replay.
I think Duplex took that kill.
Yeah, that's why I would really love to see a replay if our French colleagues think the same. Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much. So look at this. Aggressivo joins the fight using that teleport. Hustlin is going down absolutely immediately. Aggressivo uses his onslaught to stop Raven onto going on Woolite. In the same time, Schlatten is going down because of deep legs, and Smiley is taking out Certus. You were actually absolutely correct. Although the kill went to Memento.
Yeah, but eventually Sergius got cut out from the rest of the team because of Memento, so the kill is pretty fair going to Nidalee, because he was trying to not be caught by that beautiful javelin thrown by Memento, and that led him to be 1v1 versus Smiley, and then Smiley just beautifully escaped that shockwave that Sergius tried to use to as a last chance to escape. Didn't work out though.
As I said, it seems like in the team fights, we are seeing actually a very fair game.
When it comes to the team fights and more of individual fights inside those team fights, because I wouldn't exactly call it team fights. It looks like more of many individual fights happening all around.
Yeah.
Yes, between everybody. But yes, when it comes to these kind of fights, that looks pretty equal in power. But overall in the game, Misfits are leading and you cannot deny it.
Certainly not. I mean, if you look at the goal difference, you have 2,000s, and almost all of those 2,000s are going to Woolite.
Yeah.
And that is something to be said, because he survived the onslaught from Raven. He survived that. Even though he was focusing him as much as he could, had a little bit more of survivability because of his W. I think he used his ultimate as well on him, the showstopper.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
that gave him a lot of time trying to catch him and kill him, but didn't manage to do that. Certus is using his teleport in order to get himself into the mid lane. We have a 5-on-5 stare down. Certus is a little bit far from his team right now. Vitality.Bee are going to probably fish and try to look for somebody. Showstopper going in there. That's again a chaotic fight. Again, collateral damage going in there. Hustlin and Raven are going down. Deeplex has to flash away in order to get out of that fight, but Smiley might not be that lucky, although manages to escape, maybe because of his E. Probably, yes. I don't exactly know. Manages to escape because of his flash as well. Didn't use exhaust, though, and it seems like Vitality.Bee are actually not done in here. No Empress Divide available for him, and Woolite in the process. Taking the dragon, that's an ocean saw for them.
Sneaky Woolite, that's what I love to see. Taking 2 kills.
Oh, and look at it!
And,
Buster Show going on to Deeplex, not going to die, even because of his E, only because Memento healed him. Wow.
Woolite is the man of this game, I would say. Just the Kraken Slayer that he built as a first item is really paying off, because you could see Raven going down under the insane damage coming from Woolite. And then he takes the second kill, and then he's just like, yeah, you can chase everybody. Sorry, I'll just go and take the soul for us. I'm gonna do the God's work here.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, look at it yet again. It's so chaotic in here. And I mean, I can see the strategy Vitality.Bee are going with. And the strategy actually is pretty nice. They're getting their front lane into the fight as fast as you can, and then you just let your 3 damage dealers just do immense amount of damage. The problem is Woolite. Woolite, I suppose that Misfits understood this tactic from the very beginning. That's why the Kraken Slayer was the first item to be built. Because Raven and Hustlin are going down way too quickly for Vitality.Bee to actually do anything.
Yes, that is...
Oh, look at that! Onslaught getting in there. Hustlin probably going down. Yet again, the amount of control is insane. Schlatten picks up the kill, and that is probably a well-earned dragon. I'm sorry, Baron. 14 Misfits, and it seems like Vitality.Bee are not actually going to be able to do anything about it. Raven has to go back. Goes with a sneaky teleport. Maybe they're going to try and go for a steal there. Oh, Jatro and Schlatten flash in order to get the kill. Masha is being secured by Woolite here, and not even Showstopper's going to do the God's work. Raven is going down as well. Deeplex using his Emperor's Divide in order to get rid of the chaser Woolite, but Jackstraw and Schlatten are already there. Deeplex manages to escape, though, because of his mobility and because of the minions of the Emperor of Shurima. But it's not going to be enough. Misfits, with the full team, they just continue the onslaught.
It looks like the showstopper doesn't exactly show the stop in this case, because nothing can stop that Woolite from taking whatever he wants, and nothing can stop Jack Troll from just
And
controlling
Smiley,
everything
look
he
at
sees.
Smiley. He was just farming at the bot lane.
He still is. He still is. He's trying to take that tower. Kind of trying to implement Woolite's tactic, but considering that the enemy team has Baron buff active on them and they're all five on the top lane, is a really good strategy from you.
It's actually decided to withdraw. Well, they've taken the full lane, so why don't you actually withdraw, wait for the Elder Drake, and then you finish the game?
Exactly.
At the very least, that's the way that it seems to be right now. And despite the fact that I was trying to praise Vitality.Bee for what they were doing right now, it seems like they have no chance against Misfits right now. If they don't find a way to get rid of Woolite as fast as they cannot win this game. At the very least, that's the way I see it right now.
I agree with your vision. Actually, Vitality.Bee had their chance back there when the Baron was being taken by Misfits Premiere, because you could see Memento trying to sneak around a little bit and maybe try to steal the Baron with a javelin, or just jump in and smite. Maybe just so many options when you're Nidalee, but it just doesn't work against Misfits, because they know what you're going to do, because you're standing on the ward there, and because they have Jack Troll and Schladen who are just mobile and controlling.
Look at the damage on the turrets from Woolite. Look at that damage. They have no problem in taking yet another tower. They're going to take the bot lane's tower with absolute at ease. And look at Showstopper. Schladen is going down with the help of Smiley. Showstopper really stopped the show right now, but is it worth it? The inhibitor is going down. Certus decides actually to stay in the mid lane. Hustlin maybe looking for some cheeky angle right now. Aggressivo and Juncture are both in there. Teleport coming from Certus. Look at it. Raven throwing himself into the fight with Hustlin. But Woolite stops them with the Kraken Slayer. Look at the damage. One more auto momentum will be dead, but one more onto didn't land. Schladen and Juncture had to pay with their lives, but the Baron buff 5 seconds more active. It's a 3-on-3 stand off right now. Baron is no more, but the turret is down. Vitality.Bee with their backs against the wall. They have to try and prevent the pain train from coming on there, but will be they able to do that? Woolite trying to catch some cheeky angle on Memento. Didn't manage to do that. Maybe go, shockwave, but it's interrupted by the Zhonya's from Diplex. Misfits need to withdraw because Hustlin was already there, and only 5 seconds more until Raven is going to join the fight. 45 seconds only for the Elder Drake, and it seems like that's exactly what Vitality.Bee are having their eyes set upon.
They are going exactly with what you thought they would do. They will just take the Elder Drake, and with that ultimate power in their hands, they will have no problem finishing the game. Frankly, they do not have a problem now, because they have much more power. They have both lanes cleared for them, and mid lane is pretty much almost open for them. And they just win in general. In the fights they haven't, the fights are still really chaotic, as they have been the whole game. We haven't seen a clear team fight as we usually see when it comes to Misfits playing against pretty much anybody else. But here, they are just going in with raw power, especially from Woolite, just damaging anything it sees, and that's not
And that's a clean team fight if I've ever seen one. Memento going down, blink and you miss it. Schladen is trying to stay away. Diplex just trying to get Woolite down with the Emperor's Divide, but didn't manage to do so. Both Smiley and Diplex are going down. Only 2 members of Team Vitality.Bee are stand alive, but it seems like it's not going to make any kind of a difference. 5 members of Team Misfits are alive. The tower is going down. The inhibitor is going down. Only one Nexus turret is what stands between Misfits and the Nexus. Will Vitality.Bee trying to prevent Misfits from taking that tower? Maybe they will try, but they're definitely not going to succeed. Woolite is taking the Nexus turret. They are taking the Nexus themselves. Maybe there's going to be a little BM. Shockwave is getting 3 members of that, but the Nexus is going down before Certus will die, and Misfits take that win in a bit of a brutal fashion yet again.
I would even say that was really brutal fashion, what was happening in the end of the game, especially after the last team fight and all the way up to finishing the enemy Nexus. That was a really brutal Polska Górą if I have ever seen one.
Absolutely. Although I want just to give credit to Vitality.Bee a little bit, because that was a very interesting tactic that they have pulled off onto Misfits, because trying to go in there and fight against something that you consider to be a top-notch effectiveness from Misfits, which is actually team fighting. They love to team fight, and they love to team fight cleanly. And trying to strip Misfits away, strip away this possibility of team fighting and team fighting clearly was a very interesting tactic. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit interested and surprised and kind of delighted that we have seen this tactic.
Yeah.
But it didn't really pay off.
Unfortunately, there was something fresh in what we have seen being pulled out of sleeves against Misfits Premiere so far. We have to give credit to Vitality.Bee for that and for trying. But that didn't work out because overall, starting even from the pick, they were in a slightly worse position than Misfits Premiere.
Absolutely, yeah. And on that very, very positive note, we congratulate Misfits with yet another victory. Now they're sitting on the second place of the tournament board, of the turret board, alongside with Carmine Corp. We are getting closer and closer to the playoffs. I'm really, really looking forward towards that. And with that being said, thank you very much. My name was, is, and will be Brilmann. I was joined here by someone named Solari, and her name is, was, and will be. If you liked the way we cast this game for you, then please like, subscribe, tell us what you think about it. Write Polska Górą as much as you can in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next game of Misfits Premiere.
We will indeed. Thank you very much for joining. Bye.